Like every town, the small American town of Ravenshade had its secrets. But the darkest one was the Whistler House. Locals said if you go near it at midnight, you'll hear a faint whistle, and after that, no one ever returns. It was a cold winter night, fog and drizzle in the air. Evelyn Parker, a young journalist, walked toward the house with her camera and recorder. "If this is just a myth," she said, "I'll bring out the truth tonight." As she reached the gate, her flashlight flickered. The old wooden gate creaked open. Creak! Inside, darkness, decayed walls, broken frames, dust in the air. She stepped inside carefully. An old piano sat in the corner, but its keys were moving on their own, as if invisible hands were playing a tune. Evelyn turned on her recorder. "There's something here." The air feels heavy. Suddenly, footsteps echoed upstairs. Thud, thud, thud. She pointed her torch upward. No one was there. On one wall, written in faded red, "Leave this place." Evelyn laughed nervously. Must be a prank. But then a cold gust brushed her neck, and the recorder captured a whisper. "You shouldn't have come here." She spun around. Nothing. Her camera began recording by itself. Through the lens, a tall shadow appeared. A man wearing a wide-brim hat, emerging from the wall. He was whistling, the same eerie sound the house was known for. Evelyn's hands trembled. "Who are you?" she whispered, but the shadow vanished. Then, laughter. Distant, cruel. She climbed the stairs, the upper floor burnt and scarred. A child's room stood open, scattered with old toys. On the wall, written in chalk, "Play with us." She picked up a doll. Its eyes turned on their own. Evelyn screamed. The door slammed shut behind her. Darkness swallowed the room, and the whistling returned. Faint, but growing louder. She tried to open the door. It wouldn't budge. The light flickered, and standing before her was the whistler. His face half missing, hollow eyes, lips curved as the whistle grew louder. He stepped forward. Evelyn stumbled back. Then, complete blackout. Hours later, police found her camera outside the house. The last footage showed Evelyn's trembling voice. "If someone finds this, the whistler is real. He's still here." And then, static. The story didn't end there. Because the next night the whistle echoed again through the town of Ravenshade. Sometimes the stories we try to uncover end up uncovering us. The next morning, Ravenshade was eerily silent. The news of Evelyn's disappearance had spread across town. Her camera was found, but her body wasn't. Detective Daniel Brooks was assigned to investigate. A logical man, didn't believe in ghosts. "There's always a reason behind the myth," he said, "and I'll find it." He arrived at the Whistler house with Officer Megan Carter. The police tape fluttered in the wind. Inside, cold silence and the smell of mold. Daniel shone his flashlight on the same words painted on the wall. "Leave this place," Megan asked. "Do you think Evelyn could still be alive?" Daniel replied, "Maybe, if this house only wants to scare people." They stepped in. On the floor, torn notebook, camera batteries scattered. The notebook read, "He whistles when you lie." "He? Who's he?" Megan whispered. "Maybe a local legend," Daniel replied. Just then, thud, thud, thud. Footsteps above. They froze. The staircase creaked, even though the air was still. Daniel muttered, "That's not the wind." They climbed up. The children's room, burnt toys, broken furniture. Suddenly, the piano started playing by itself. Notes slow, rhythmic, like a message. "This tune," Daniel said. "It's saying something." Megan turned on the recorder. When they played the tune backward, a voice emerged. "Help! Trapped! Basement! Their eyes widened. They rushed to the basement. The door, once sealed, now swung open by itself. Inside, darkness and decay. On the wall, old newspaper clippings. One headline read, "Family of 4 burned alive, the Whistler seen nearby." Megan whispered, "So it's a curse?" Daniel replied, "Or revenge." In one corner, Evelyn's camera. He picked it up and played the footage. Her last words echoed, "If someone's watching this, he's down here. He doesn't forgive lies." Then, the tall shadow appeared. Daniel paused the video. "This isn't human," he muttered. Suddenly, the lights flickered. A faint whistle filled the air. Daniel drew his gun. "Who's there?" No answer. But slowly, red letters appeared on the wall. "You lied." Megan's voice shook. "We didn't lie." Daniel said, "Maybe he thinks we all do." The basement door slammed shut. Darkness swallowed everything. Only the whistle remained, and Evelyn's faint whisper. "Run!" Daniel shouted, "Evelyn!" But only laughter echoed back. The story didn't end there, because that night, outside the Ravenshade police station, someone heard the whistle again. Night had passed, but Daniel couldn't sleep. Evelyn's voice echoed in his mind. "He's down there. He doesn't forgive lies." He flipped through his notes. Every old report said the same thing. When someone tries to hide the truth about Ravenhill, he comes. The next day, Daniel and Megan visited the old Ravenshade library. The old librarian, Mrs. Alcott, greeted them. "You're talking about the Whistler house, aren't you?" she said softly. Megan nodded. "We need its history." Mrs. Alcott's eyes dimmed. "That house once belonged to Father Jeremiah, a priest. He adopted orphans. Until one night they all disappeared." "Disappeared?" Daniel asked. "They say he killed them and burned the church." Megan's voice trembled. "Why?" "Because he said God hates lies." Daniel felt a chill crawl down his spine. He asked, "Was Jeremiah's body ever found?" She whispered, "No. Only the whistle remains." That night, Daniel dreamt again. He stood in the old church locked inside. A whisper. "Confess your lies." Then, Jeremiah's burnt face appeared before him. "You lie, Daniel." He screamed and woke up. Megan rushed in. "What happened?" He was in my dream." The next morning, they went to Jeremiah's abandoned church. The door hung loose, the air heavy with ash. On the wall, a confession booth, half burned. Megan pointed. "Someone wrote here. Recently." Fresh blood marked the words. "Lies bring him back." Daniel snapped a photo. The door suddenly slammed shut. Megan turned on her flashlight. Inside the booth, someone was standing. Slowly, the shadow stepped out. Long hat, torn coat, faceless. He began to whistle. Daniel said, "We just want the truth." The voice replied, deep and hollow. "Truth? You lie too," Megan shouted. "We don't lie." The shadow raised his hand. Megan lifted into the air. Her eyes turned white, blood dripping from her mouth. Daniel fired his gun, but the bullets vanished. "Stop," he screamed. The voice echoed, "Confess or burn." The candles ignited by themselves. On the wall, red letters glowed again. "You lied." Daniel fell to his knees, shaking. "I lied. I lied." The shadow of Jeremiah slowly faded. Megan lay unconscious. The next morning, Daniel woke up alone. Megan was gone. On the wall, a new message. One lie left. He looked closer. His own name was written in blood. Daniel Brooks. The faint morning light crept through the broken window. Daniel's eyes were bloodshot, sleep long gone. Photos of Evelyn, Megan, and Jeremiah were scattered across the room. Each had one word written over it: LIE. He turned on his camera and began recording. If anyone finds this, know that the Whistler is real. He hunts lies, and those who speak them die. Suddenly, a cold breeze pushed the door open. Outside lay the same narrow path, leading straight to the Whistler house. Daniel whispered, "Let's end this." The path was silent. The mansion loomed like a living corpse. Inside, the whispers began again. "Confess your lies." Daniel shouted, "I'm not a liar." A deep voice answered, "Every man lies." Jeremiah's shadow emerged from the dark, face burned, eyes hollow. "You lied to Evelyn. You lied to Megan." Daniel staggered back. I hid the truth." "What truth?" "I sent Evelyn that night to the mansion. She was going to expose me. I wanted the story first." Jeremiah laughed. "Then you caused her death." The room ignited with flames. Evelyn's screams filled the air. "You sent me there, Daniel." Daniel fell to his knees, trembling. "Yes, I lied. The flames froze mid-air." Jeremiah stepped closer. His face softened, eyes calm. "You've confessed. You're free." But then, a whisper behind him. "The truth doesn't save everyone." He turned. Megan stood there. Her eyes were white, her smile hollow. "I'm him now." Jeremiah's spirit faded away, and Megan began to whistle. The house shook violently. Red words appeared on the wall again. "The Whistler never dies." The story didn't end. He was simply waiting for the next lie. The camera hit the floor. The final frame. Daniel's face turning to ash. That haunting whistle echoing through the dark. Then silence.